Well, hello, and welcome back to that thing we like to call Curlis Mania, where we talk all things pop, rock, and prog. Man, today's a special day. It's always a special day when you have a new guest. So I'm really excited to have Stephen Reid on my channel today. Stephen, how are you today?
I am very well. Thank you very much, Tom, for asking me to come on the show. Really, we've been speaking about this for a few weeks, and I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be great.
Yes, yes. So I was kind of hounding Steven a little bit, just a little, and just saying, hey man, I'd love to have you come on the channel. And of course, it's always like the okay, okay, I'll come on the channel. Now what are we going to talk about? So it's always that kind of discussion. And then of course I had to bring up Marillion. So I saw him, I must have seen you on an early Sea of Tranquility in the Prague seat. And I think like you were mentioning, we were talking about Marillion and when you talked about Marillion, you could tell you were like a big fan. Like you had some passion when you were talking about him, and I was like, I like that guy. He loves Marillion just like I do. But so yeah, Marillion's close to my heart because it's like it reminds me of high school, really, honestly. I mean, there's a little bit of I don't know about you. There's a little bit of just sentimentality and kind of
Mhm.
remembering high school when I think about Marillion. What about you?
This is pre-high school for me, as we would call it here. This is my history with Marillion goes almost right back to the start, I would guess. As with a lot of my early listening, it was my brother that got me into Marillion and lots of other things. So yes, I would struggle. I was thinking about this. I would struggle to tell you exactly where I came in because in 1982, 1983, I was 9 or 10 years old. So,
Yes.
but this music was part of my life even at that stage because it was in the house and it was being played. I know what I think the first things I heard were, and we'll come to those. Um, but it may be that both Script for a Jester's Tear and Fugazi were out before I really was aware of Marillion, or it may not, because certainly the first album and the accompanying singles are what are in here as what I first heard. So whether I'm making that up and making it a little bit poetic, which is apt for talking about the band with fish in it, I don't know. But it's certainly my memory is right the way back to the first three singles on the debut album. So yeah, it takes
It's
me right back to pre-high school.
lost in the sands of time.
Yes,
I mean,
or in the made-up nonsense in my head.
I mean, we are talking about 1982 after all. This is a little
Yeah,
while ago. So, but no, yeah, I think I'm the same way. I think that I came back to these albums. I don't think that I was on board right away. I had heard about them, or obviously, Misplaced Childhood was a massive record, and I think that was the thing that really got attention in the U.S. But I had heard about this band. It was weird. I'd heard about them, but I don't think I had listened. I didn't buy Fugazi. I bought Misplaced Childhood. And then I
okay.
think I went back and got these records. And then I was like, oh my God, these are great. Like, how did I miss these records? The first two.
Yeah,
So
because they are pretty fantastic, has to be said. They're spoilers already.
yeah, yeah, exactly. We're getting way ahead of ourselves as we tend to do on this channel. So but we are here. What are we doing today? We are here to talk about the debut of Marillion, Script for a Jester's Tear. So we're talking Fish era here, first album. Oh, of course he's got the deluxe. Look at that. Of course. I mean, I need that. I don't have that, and I keep reading reviews saying it's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
look at that.
and it is, and the sound is fantastic on it.
Yeah.
It is well worth having if you love the album as much as I think we love the album.
Yes, yes. Yes, no, absolutely. And does it have live stuff on it too? Just curious.
It does, yes. So you have Live at the Marquee Club from the 29th of December 1982 across two discs. So you've basically got the whole album, Market Square Heroes, Margaret, and Three Boats Down from the Candy, all live from the
Nice.
Marquee, which was their main haunt at the time. I haven't brought them because they're only CDRs. It's not very exciting to look at. I do have a few bootlegs from before these days and before this lineup.
Ooh.
And
Wow.
they're really quite exciting because you hear these songs before they are these songs. And that in itself is quite an enjoyable journey.
Absolutely. No, that's exciting. I love that. That's very cool. So, okay, so I'm just going to do a quick rundown. That's what I
Yep.
always do, just a real fast rundown, and then I'm going to hand it over to you, and we'll start talking about the record. So essentially, as we talked about, Script for a Jester's Tear is the Marillion's debut album. It was recorded in December '82, February '83, released March 14th 1983 on EMI, produced by Nick Tauber, who was apparently kind of a hip producer
Yep.
at the time. He did Toya, which I was like, "What's Toya?" And all of a sudden I went, "Oh yeah, Robert Fripp's wife."
There you go. That's who that is. Yes. Yep.
Took me a second, but I got there. Recorded at Marquee Studios in London. And as I'm sure we'll get into, it's the first and last record with Mick Pointer as the drummer.
Yep.
So we'll talk about that. Soon to be replaced by Ian Mosley. So there you go. Who's the drummer to this day. Um, and we have to say the artwork was by Mark Wilkinson, who just kills it on every album on Love It to Death, and the whole Fish era is Mark Wilkinson. It's fantastic. So that's the basic rundown. I mean, I will mention the debut single. We could talk about single. The debut single was Market Square Heroes, which came out in October. Oh, there it is, in October of '82. Um, and it had the B side was Three Boats Down from the Candy, and the 12-inch single, which I believe you're holding. Is that right?
I am indeed.
There it is, and it's got Grendel on it, which is 17 minutes of greatness. So there you go. So wait, why don't we start with that, Stephen? Why don't you
Okay.
so you're holding it? We're looking at it. We're talking about it. Let's talk about this because this is before the record. So let's talk about this. What do you think about Market Square Heroes as a single?
I absolutely love Market Square Heroes. Now, as I say, in my head, I'm not sure if Market Square Heroes or Garden Party were my introduction to the band. I kind of see those two getting ahead of ourselves because Garden Party's on the album. I see those two as bedfellows. There's a kind of similarity about the just kind of joyous nature of them, really. The keyboard work
Yeah.
in them is kind of footloose and fancy free, but it's still, they're quite driven. They're not pop songs. They're not a million miles away, though, at the same time when you come to them as singles. And it's telling that with Fish just having wrapped up his solo career not all that long ago, he played this as one of the two encores at the very end, along with the company, his kind of solo calling card. So it's definitely seen as something that was that important to him all the way through. They set a marker down right from the start. Now, interestingly, okay, the producer actually, which isn't Nick Tober, I'm having already needing to look it up. David Hitchcock is the producer of this.
Yes. Yes.
The
Yep.
story goes that he got absolutely obsessed by Grendel because it was
Wow.
the 17-minute epic and all this kind of stuff. And he really liked Three Boats Down from the Candy, which is also the B side of that and the 7-inch version. And he spent all his time on those and then rushed about at the very end thinking, oh, Marcus Square Heroes, we've got to do that too, don't we? And that maybe explains why the production isn't brilliant. It has to be said. It
Yeah.
is a little muddy and it's a little confused. It gets a little lost, but there's a great song in there. And sadly, he actually worked so hard at the end that he left the studio after the story goes 3 or 4 days of no sleep and crashed his car on the way home and had to be cut free of the car. And in the back of the car, in the can, were the tapes for the single. And the first thing when the emergency services got there to let him out of the car, he said was, the single's in the back, save the single.
Wow.
And then they took it away and made the single. And he was in hospital for a long, long time after that, getting better
Wow.
from those kind of shenanigans. So yes, Marcus Wheels is it's an amazing story in itself. But I love this as a song. What do you think?
Oh, I absolutely love it. Yes, it's got that ding 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 ding. It sounds like someone marching, right? And it's just got that marching beat.
Yep.
And I got really sold on it when I saw the one time I saw them live. I saw them for the Clutching at Straws tour in New York City, and they encored with Market Square Heroes,
Mm.
and the whole crowd was like
Yep.
bouncing. and singing along with every word, and I was like, "Oh my god, this song is so great." Like, it was just when we played it live, it just really elevated. And it's just got that anthemic feel to it, you know. It's and like to your point, it's a little different from the record. It's kind of like it's very single like. It's
Yeah.
pretty compact. It's pretty hooky. You know, it's hooky.
Mhm.
You know that whole Market Square Hero. I mean, it's like it's a there's a you, it sticks in your head.
Does indeed, yes,
You know.
absolutely. They signposted, I think, with the B sides that there was something else going on because
Yes.
Grendel is a different beast entirely. As you say, 17 minutes.
Hmm.
It's probably one of the reasons they got so much notice because it was a 17-minute epic, and in the early 80s, nobody was doing prog. So to be doing obvious prog, but it probably became a bit of a millstone. I know for Fish, certainly, Marillion for a long time too, you couldn't attend a Fish gig without somebody going, Grindle! Because
Yes. Yeah.
everybody, that was, it became the joke as much as anybody actually wanted to hear the song because they knew that he would come back with some witty put down as to why the person that shouted it was a complete ass,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, it's also probably where an awful lot of the, aren't they just Genesis? Kind of accusations come from because it's kind of Genesis.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's good. It's really
Yeah.
good.
But it's
It's much
great. I
better
still
than I
love
think it is.
it.
It's one of those songs you think, do you know what? I don't know if I need to hear that. And then you put it on and you go, actually, I do need to hear that. It is actually really good.
Yes, yes, no, and I mean, of course, you know, that the one section, of course, is that, like, there's that one section that sounds almost identical to, like, Apocalypse in 9/8, where that I mean, I think that's where they really got in trouble was that one section where you're like, "Oh my god, that's almost identical," but it's still cool. I mean, I'm a huge Genesis fan, so I'm like, I love it." You know, they're aping something that I love, so I'm cool with it, you
Yeah,
know?
see, there's an interesting thing for me. You're asking about where you kind of first hear a band, where you come in. Obviously, with the age that I heard Marillion, I didn't know that prog was a thing. I didn't know that progressive rock existed. At that point, I'd heard bands like Status Quo and Iron Maiden, AC/DC, bands of that ilk. So I didn't listen to Marillion and go, wow, this is progressive rock. But you just thought, well, this is different, way
Yeah.
more keyboards for a start. And
Mhm.
it just has a different feel. And it's a long time down the road before I start to go, oh, so they're a prog band. Okay. And it
Yeah.
didn't matter so much back then. We didn't kind of go neatly, that's where they go and that's where they go.
Mhm.
You know, it was
Yeah.
very much
Yeah.
they're a rock band, but they happen to be a progressive rock band. So it's funny how times change that too.
And like we just said, Market Square Heroes isn't that much of a prog song,
Hmm.
really. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
so, you know, so but yeah, you're right. It was interesting that they did that single and then they did all the sort of proggy stuff on the B side and the, you know, and the 12 inch. So, but yeah, it's interesting. I mean, is it fair to say that, I mean, Marillion was pretty, I mean, nobody else was doing this in 82 and 83. I mean, were they? I mean, maybe there were like 12th Night and IQ and those all were all those at the same time?
Those kind of bands were around roughly at that time. I would be a liar if I was to tell you that Marillion came out and then these bands all appeared because that's probably not fair.
Right.
It's one of those. I suppose it's the same as when an awful lot of scenes come along and kind of dominate. So by the time that we get to this point, punk's kind of been and gone very quickly, and the new wave of British heavy metal is kind of the bastion of rock at this stage. That is where everything's going to go for the next couple of years. We're already maybe beginning to go over some of that kind of scene already. So there was that kind of kickback, I suppose, into something that is therefore the opposite. New wave of British heavy metal at that point was a little bit punky, quite straight ahead, very, very good, but it was very kind of singular in its approach. It grew over the years, and the reaction to that were bands who were not taking that approach and were much more technical, way more intricate, playing longer songs, and yeah, wearing capes and face makeup and harking
Yeah.
back to the 70s in a way. So yeah, IQ were around. I think there was a few that were. Solstice was another one that was kicking around at that time as well. So Marillion are definitely the standard bearers. They're the one that make the breakthrough.
Yeah, they really broke through in a big way. I mean, if they got to me in the suburbs in New Jersey, they did pretty well. They really broke through.
Absolutely.
That's the way I always gauge it by that. They got to me, so and I was in I was in the burbs of New Jersey, so that's coming all the way from the UK. So, so it's pretty cool. And they, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something. I had a point to make. I lost it. Anyway, sometimes that happens to me. So let's get into the record. Why don't we? So they released Market Square Heroes does pretty well, first of all.
Yep.
And they I'm sure they kind of got out of the gate with a pretty good bang. And oh, this is what I was gonna say. I got it now. A lot of my friends back in like 82, 83, they were all listening to Van Halen. Like
There
that
you
was
go.
the band everyone was listening to, and I'm sitting there like listening to this, and they're like, "What the hell? Who is that?" You know?
Yeah, see, I suppose, I mean, as I say, I was reasonably young in '82. I was 9, 10 years old, kind of that sort of stage. Thankfully, in our house, we were playing all this kind of stuff. Van Halen's debut was played in the house. Marillion was played in the house. Iron
Yeah.
Maiden was played in. As I say, I don't know if it was slightly different in the UK, where we just like Kerrang, for example, which was the Bible of rock music and metal at that stage, covered all these bands,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
wasn't quite so worried. It would come obviously about are they this or are they that or are they cool or are they not to some extent?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
Marillion arguably couldn't have been any less cool at that point, and
So true.
yet they got coverage in these magazines. They
Yeah,
got
they
coverage in
did.
Kerrang,
Yeah.
which really, with hindsight, is a heavy metal magazine. It's all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But Marillion got really good coverage in there. So it is a kind of different thing. It's a very much a melting pot still at this stage before
Mhm.
it kind of splinters into prog and thrash and death and all the various things that rock and metal would go to. People were
Mhm.
less worried. And some of the bands that Marillion played with, you would go, they played with who? Why would they play on a bill with that band? But nobody really seemed to worry too much till they got to the US and Rush fans hated them.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I keep forgetting about they opened for Rush in what, 86 or something?
86, I think, was the second time. They had opened for them earlier than that.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was a run of 5 shows and they did not go well. Or 5 or 6 shows. I don't know the exact. Somebody will thankfully
Yeah,
get that right.
someone let us know. Yeah.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
But yes, they did not go down well. But when they came back the second time around '86, so Misplaced Childhood and various things like that, Rush, Geddy Lee had specifically asked for them and
Mhm.
had made a big point of that so that the fans knew, give them a chance, and they went down much better second time round.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. I didn't know they did a second. I knew that they did one. I didn't know they did two. That's interesting. So yeah. So anyway, so let's get to the record. So Script for a Jester's Tear, it starts out with the title track.
It
And
does indeed.
oh my God, just like I love that solo vocal with just the piano. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
And
pretty
it's
amazing.
so here I am once more. It's like, hold on a minute, I've only just met you. It's already evocative. It's already that kind of, it's playing with you straight away. And those vocals, I mean, you could analyze Fish and say, is he a great singer? Well, kind of, but he's a great
Yeah, like
storyteller,
yeah, right.
you
Right.
know? And
He's
that has
got that
always been,
presence. He's got that presence,
yes,
man.
that's a great word for it. He's
Yeah.
got presence. And I think it's a ballsy start to the album
Oh,
because it is really stripped back and it is contained. You know, it's all. I would say once by the time you're 4 minutes in, I mean, and that tells you we're on a prog album here because by the time you're 4 minutes in, we're just over halfway, I think, at this
it's just
point.
getting going in 4 minutes. It's
Yeah,
just
you're already on a proper journey by
right.
that stage, you know. But
Yeah.
those kind of piano chords that Mark Kelly accompanies those early vocals with, it's fragile, it's small, it's intimate, and yet it's clearly not a love song. So
Yeah.
we're already doing something kind of different. And the band just join in slowly but surely. So it's quite a simple guitar motif from Steve Rothery initially. Then you're joined by Mick Pointer's drums, and then slowly but surely Pete Travis comes in. And by this stage, you haven't really realised that the singer is howling the lyrics out now. We've
Yep.
completely moved from one place to another. And I'm going to say something contentious here now, because I know, and I'll contradict myself later. I know that the bad guy here is Mick Pointer. Okay, I know that there are people, Eric Porter, who are maybe watching this and going, "Oh, I can't listen to that album because oh, Mick Pointer's so bad." I quite like his drums on this album. They're not Ian Mosley, and we'll
Right.
cover if we do a second show that comes to Fugazi. We'll cover the journey from Pointer to Mosley because there are three drummers in between. But some of these drum fills to me are iconic. They punctuate the music absolutely fantastically. Yes, if they'd had a technically more adept drummer, it probably would make these songs even greater. But they didn't, and I don't need them to have that because they don't. And it's just, I think they punctuate the music really, really well. And then you've also got an incredible guitar solo. So album one,
Yes. Yes.
side
Yeah.
one, track one, we're on. We have arrived. This is happening now. We are not mucking around. I love it.
It's
Great stuff.
we are in. It is happening, man. We are in. No, I'm with you. It's funny how that, even that when it that do, 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 do,
Yeah,
do, do, and you're like, what's happening? But this
yeah,
is great. Like I love this. And then next thing you know, he's doing the game is over, over, over.
yeah,
You're like, what is happening? Like it's all over the place.
yeah. I really wish I'd seen them live at this stage. That would have been absolutely mind blowing, incredible.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, incredible. What a great opening track. Like you said, I'm in 100% after the opening track, and it's that sort of Rothery thing with I'm like, oh, this kind of sounds like Steve Hackett. No, wait, it kind of sounds like David Gilmour. No, wait, he's got like all of these little things going on. And you're like, oh my God, I love his guitar tone. And to your point, it was funny. I was listening to this thinking, I don't think the drums are as good from memory. And I'm listening to it and nothing's bugging me. Like
yeah.
nothing bothered me about the drums. So I'm with you on that. I don't really think there's a problem. I mean, it's not like you said, maybe it's not quite as flourishy as it could be, but it's all
I
like
mean,
hair. I don't
I'm maybe putting words in other people's mouths here. It maybe depends. Well, maybe not though, because you're saying that you had Misplaced Childhood before you had these two albums.
right.
Because I was wondering if it was maybe more an entry point thing. Because I mean, Ian Mosley is just otherworldly. The guy's fantastic. He's a phenomenal drummer and perfect for this band. So if you come to that first and then come back to this album, you might go, "Well, who's this guy?" Because he's
Right.
definitely not that guy.
Yes.
Yeah, they just work on these songs for me because it's what I know and it's what I love, and I
Yeah.
ear drum to this album a lot.
No, I do too. It's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of great drum parts, and I do think that they really rehearsed a ton. I think these guys were really tight, and
Yep.
I think these parts were just they
They
had
were
everything
an
down.
absolute road beast at this stage.
Yeah,
After Fish joined the band, he really, for a great length of time, became very much their kind of PR guy. He was going out and hustling and on the phone for gigs all the time. If they were playing live, it's good he had forced somebody to put them on stage. And it just worked. He just had that personality where people would kind of go, "Here's a ginormous Scotsman."
yeah,
Okay.
yes. Okay,
if, you,
okay.
if you insist. So by the time they came to record these songs, they were absolutely on it. They knew these songs inside out by the stage. But it would be fair to suggest that they put Mick Pointer to task and made him work very hard to get what we got here. So
That's a good point. No,
that's how the story goes. I'm sure.
yes.
I'm sure Mr. Pointer would have a different outlook on
That's it.
that.
No, that's interesting. That's an interesting thought that, he probably was put through the paces on this record, no doubt. Um,
Yeah,
so so we move on to He Knows You Know, which I believe was that a single on this? Was that the first single? Yeah, there we go.
that's
There
the
it
first
is.
single from the
Of
album.
course it
Yeah,
was.
he knows you know. Look at the artwork here.
Oh, that's such a cool. I love that. I love it.
There's the other thing as well, I think, with Marillion, where they arrived as the full package
Hmm.
because they arrived with really intricate and well crafted and road tested music they arrived with a guy who was writing lyrics like at that time, nobody else.
Hmm.
And they arrived fully formed with an image. Do you know, they have a mascot, if you want to call the Jester a mascot. They've got a great logo,
Hmm.
you know. This is all
Yeah.
down to Mark Wilkinson, although the band and him both collaborated very strongly on all the covers. They discussed them and they spoke about them and he listened to lyrics and decided to try and put things together that would work because you've got a single here, okay, you've got a single about drug addiction and split personalities. Catchy, eh?
There it is.
It's
I mean, there's the
lovely.
art. There it is.
Yeah, and this tells you everything that you need to know. I was lucky enough a few years ago to interview Mark Wilkinson, and he really was almost part of the band at this stage because he was getting lyrics early and hearing songs early and trying to craft artwork that matched specifically. And I mean, the art on this, which unfortunately yours will be better than mine because you've got the 12-inch of it. But there are spoilers on here, there are Easter eggs on here. You've got already throws forward to album two. You've got a Punch Man from Punch and Judy on the television and various things like this. We're already
Yes.
beginning to kind of look forward because they'd included him in rough ideas that they had and various things like this. But you've got down here, you've got a tiny little can of Coke, for want of a better turn of phrase, but it's actually got Marillion on the logo. Do you know, you've got there's the cover to He Knows You Know is actually on the floor. And it's just all these little things that are already there that just makes this such a rounded package. They have arrived fully formed. And bands don't do that. It's very seldom bands do that.
And I think that's a saucer full of secrets on the floor that he's listening
Yes,
to.
it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah,
So there you
absolutely is.
go.
Yeah.
There you go. And he's got the
'Cause-
Market Square Heroes poster on the wall.
yeah, yeah,
So it's just so cool. I mean,
absolutely.
it's you're right. They're pulling it all together, and just the artwork is so amazing. It makes you want to buy the singles and the album.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This was what I mean when I was 9, 10 years old. This is what pulled me in, was looking at these and going, wow, if this sounds anything like that, I have to have this in my life. I have to hear this. And it does. That's the thing, is it
It
does
kind of
kind of
does.
sound like that. It doesn't missell it in any shape or form. But yeah, it's the shortest track on the album. And yes, it was the first single. But and there's the clever thing, is you've got Nick Tauber, the producer, and he was kind of the in-house marquee producer at the time. Um, they understand dynamics. We've given you this kind of gargantuan, sprawling opening. Now we'll give you this in your face that is a chorus. You can sing along. Do you know, it's just fantastic. And then the middle eight catches you totally off guard. It's
Yeah.
unsettling, it's atmospheric, and then the keyboards are back in again. Do you know? And they only give in to a fantastic guitar solo. We are just already giving you everything. And Fish is by now in full stride. This is a guy that is clear he's got words, he's got characters, he's got voices. Boom. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. I was sold when he did when he does the phone call at the end or whatever. Don't give me
Yes.
problems. And it's like I'm like, oh, this sounds like The Wall or something. Like this is like the guy calling and Mr. Floyd from Mrs. Floyd. Um, but because I know he was a Floyd guy. He liked
Yeah.
Pink Floyd. So there's definitely little Pink Floyd nuggets in there. But I also just love the hook, like we were saying, that the whole, he knows, yeah, no, I mean he's
Yeah.
got problems. It's just such a hook.
Isn't it? Yeah. It's really, considering that this is a debut album from at this stage, other than the fact they had toured a lot, a reasonably unknown act, these are really well put together songs. As you say, they have hooks that it's easy, well, it's not easy. There are lots of bands out there that wrote sprawling prog numbers that people will know and love. They won't necessarily move beyond that. You need to let people in. You need to give them hooks. You need to kind of show them a bit of light in the dark and all that kind of stuff. And this album, I mean, it is almost as dark as its cover suggests, but it's
Yeah.
not really. It's not really. There's lots of little chinks of light in there that make you go, oh, 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 oh. You know?
Exactly. That's exactly it. That's a perfect way to say it. There's like little chinks of light that come in. And
Yeah,
there's little things you go, oh, that's kind of funny. Oh, that's like a joke. Like there's
yeah,
little things in there. Yeah. So so yeah. So what's interesting though is that he knows ends and it goes, don't give me your problems, bah. And I remember thinking that was the end of he knows but it actually is the beginning of the web.
yeah.
So
It's interesting because I did actually just before we came on, I checked where the CD cuts the songs because they
yes,
don't really stop, and it cuts the phone call as the end of He Knows You Know, which in my head it isn't. It's the start of the web. But I
yes,
suppose it lyrically joins to He Knows You Know. It really doesn't matter because it all works together anyway. Even though this is not conceptual, it does all
yes.
work together. In my head, we're on track 3, but actually, as the phone comes down, well, whoever sequenced the CD tells you're on track 2.
I just thought it was funny. I just thought it was funny because it's like he slams the phone and then bang, they kind of get
Then,
that musical like
dun, dun,
end. And like, oh
dun.
no,
Yeah,
that's not it. That's actually the
yeah,
beginning of the next song.
that's right.
Uh,
And it's almost like the phone going down the old receiver hitting the phone is actually the first chord of the web. It's
yes,
really same again. And it's those little things that you listen out for, aren't they? They're the hooks, they're the little ends, they're the great album construction. It's not just
yes.
about good songs. We have constructed an album here. And there's only 3 songs on each side. But we're going to take you on a journey. And even when there should be that little bit of silence in between the songs, no, pay attention. Pay
Mhm.
attention.
Yep. Not even going to give you that. Yeah, you're going to have to be in the whole time. Uh,
That's it.
so the web might be. I mean, I don't. What do you think of the web? That's the one song for me is like the maybe my least favorite of the album. I don't know why. I can't put my finger
Um,
on why.
I don't know if I would. Is it my least favorite from the album? No, probably not.
Okay.
I would guess. I'll give you the reason why when we get to the one that arguably is, and it's a classic. So
Okay.
there you
Okay.
go. I think the issue, if there's an issue with the web, is that it's maybe the track where it's most obvious to me anyway on this album that this was a band that listened to Van der Graaf Generator. This was a band that listened
Yeah.
to Pink Floyd. This was a band that listened to Yes.
Mhm.
And yeah, the singer might have quite liked Peter Gabriel. So at some point in here, you kind of go, ah, right, okay, now I understand. Back in the day, before I was even reading magazines, why people were kind of going, we've got you guys sussed. We know where
Right.
you're coming from. And
Yes.
it took me to then venture back because of Marillion and bands like this, where you think, oh, well, I'm hearing about all these bands because they sound like them. I
Mhm.
want to go back and listen to them. So
Right.
I found that baggage. I didn't carry that baggage. I went looking for it. But I would say that it does sound like 1982 or
Yeah,
83, been
it does.
recording and releasing and all that kind of stuff. This is prog, but, and I know that bands hate it, I will own this as a neo prog album. This is something slightly new. It isn't
Mhm.
just regurgitated ideas presented with a different group of people playing them and singing them. Do you know?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, the other thing as well with these, as I said, these were well crafted songs at this stage. It is interesting coming and doing this exercise and reacquainting yourself with albums that you already know really well. But there's only, I think, from memory, the title track that doesn't have a writing credit on it for either Brian Jellyman, who was the original keyboard player,
Mhm.
or Des Minute, who was the bassist before Pete Travis joined.
Right.
So that
Right.
shows you that these songs had been in one shape or form or another. Admittedly, Mark Kelly and Travis are both included in the writing credits for all of the songs too,
Right.
but we have acknowledged that actually we're recording these now, but these came from way back here somewhere.
These songs have
And
been around for a
we
while.
evolved them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So it's
Yeah.
maybe I'm being picky by saying I can hear too many influences here because, well, when you're starting out, that's what you do, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. This one just to me, it just has a little bit. I mean, I enjoy it. It's played well. It's I while I'm listening to it, I enjoy it. And now that this came to my attention really when I was kind of like you said, reacquainting myself for this episode. I was thinking at first that Chelsea Monday was the one I didn't like as much, but I'm like, oh, I think it's might be the web. So anyway, I'm spoiler alerts already, but so So let's get to side two. I'm getting ahead of myself again. So let's get to side two. So Garden Party starts out side two, which to me is kind of this is the where, like you said, chinks of light sort of come into me, where it's like sort of jokey and fun, and he's kind of making fun of high society a little bit.
Yes,
Is
very
that
much
fair
so.
to say?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what this lyric is. This is from a period of time where Fish and Des Minute, who was the bassist that joined the band at the same time he did, because the band advertised for a bassist singer. They expected one person and they
Oh,
got two. They got a bassist and a singer.
interesting.
They
Okay.
were replacing one person at this stage, you see. So that was the idea.
Gotcha.
So yes, this came from a time when those two, Fish and Des Minute, were living in Cambridge, half the time pretending to be students because they were just not doing anything. They were looking for a band, but a
Right.
band didn't really exist that they were looking for before they applied for Marillion. So they were just blagging free meals and all this kind of stuff, pretending to be students when they really weren't. And they ended up invited to all these bizarre kind of get-togethers where Fish basically spotted just falseness all around him. People
Yeah.
pretending to be something that they weren't and projecting a life that they weren't even really particularly living themselves. Never mind the fact that other people around about them weren't either. So yeah, it's mocking that whole kind of scene, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, this I love Garden Party. I
Yeah.
absolutely love Garden Party.
I
I
do.
just think that it's such a singable song. It's a song to jump up and down to. It's exactly what you said about Market Square Heroes, and that's why I suppose I put the two of them in my head.
Yes.
That because they're just so much fun, and the keyboards in it are just out of this world. Do you know?
Oh, the keyboards are fantastic. Yeah. Yes.
It's
Yes.
just I love it. So yeah, this is has always been, and here we go. We'll do all the show and tell stuff. This has always been one of my favourite songs by Marillion. Remains so too. The Great Cucumber Massacre, as it is subtitled as a single. There you go.
I mean, man,
Hence,
your singles are in great shape, by the way. They're in great, perfect.
yeah, well, yeah, these have been well loved over the years, but yes,
Yeah.
I'll even go as far as I've been quite indulgent with the show and tell. Here we go.
Yeah, there you
My
go.
shape
Wow.
sittings. There you go. Yeah,
Wow.
with a straight back. That's very
So
cool.
cool. So cool. I
Yeah,
love it.
and that was it. Was the whole package. It really was getting those two-stroke three singles along with the album and the artwork that came with that, and the lyrics in the gatefold, and it's just a complete package. As I said earlier, it really is. But yes, Garden Party is lots and lots of fun. I've kind of moved on from there, but
Yes.
it's arguably, and there's a nostalgia part here too. It's arguably my favourite song off the album. It's not the best necessarily,
Right.
but it's
Right.
maybe my favourite.
Yeah. And I do love that breakdown, that doodly doodly doo on the
Yeah.
doodly doodly doo. And I've seen, yeah, and there's a naughty word in there that everyone loves, right?
And do you know that when they played it on Top of the Pops, they made them re-record that line? Okay,
Oh,
to
okay.
and he recorded for the show was diddly diddly do, I'm miming, and he didn't sing it. He just
Oh,
went up to the camera and went.
yes. That's hilarious. That's too funny. Yes.
That is Fish through and through, really.
In a
You know,
grand tradition
maybe
of
you asked
that,
me to do it, but I'll do it
right?
my way.
Yes, in the grand tradition of artists doing that on live TV, where the Jim Morrison and Mick Jagger and all these people are like, you make you change your lyrics. It's just like, what? I'm not
Yeah,
doing
but
that.
I mean, you're not going to get away with diddly diddly do, I'm fucking. You're not going to get
Right.
away with that at 7:30 on a Thursday as it was in the UK.
It's
That's
not
not
going
going
to
to
happen.
happen.
It's not going to
So
happen. Yeah.
you either go on the telly and take the hit,
Right.
or you don't get on the TV at all. So they decided to go on the
Yes.
TV.
Yeah. I like the getting on the TV and just kind of going like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Um, anyway, so yeah, so Garden Party, kind of like an upbeat, kind of fun song, and it goes into Chelsea Monday, which is kind of like a totally opposite. It's almost like
Isn't
this
it?
kind of downer vibe.
Yeah.
But I love that pulse, that do 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 do. That like I said, I wasn't sure how just from memory, I wasn't sure if I liked Chelsea Monday, but the more I listened to this for this, I was like getting sucked in. So, and it's another tale, like it's like a great fish lyric about this woman who wants to be a big actress or a big performer or something, and but it's just another Chelsea Monday. Like she's trying hard to be big, but she's not, or something like that. I don't know.
It's along those lines, and as always with Fish, there's a slightly more sinister edge to it because she decides that because it's not going to happen and it's not going to work, the greatest way to reach fame or infamy is to commit suicide, because that way it will all be reported and she will be known as that this is how dark we're going here. So we're going from
It goes really dark. Yeah.
yeah, laughy pointy at society, and isn't it fun and diddly 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 to
Yes. Yeah.
and that's why to me Chelsea Monday is a song. It took me years to connect to
Hmm.
Chelsea Monday the way that it arguably deserves because our fans love it, and it was
Yes.
played live a lot. And it used to be one of those songs that would come on, and I would kind of go,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
like it much more now because I'm a little bit older and more mature.
Just a little
That's my
bit.
good brother. Yeah, not really, not at all. But yeah, it's moody and it's threatening, and same again, it's clever because we haven't really been quite this dowdy, for want of a better turn of phrase, on the album
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah.
It does dare to be quite dark and dirty. This is not a. There's no cheerfulness about Chelsea Monday, even when it does explode and the guitar solo is fantastic.
Oh God, the solos are great. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
still melancholy, isn't it? Do
Right.
you know? It's
Right.
not.
Yes.
It's a. It's a sad celebration, which fits the lyric absolutely perfectly. And I mean, I could talk about all the band members here, but Steve Roderick, he just says so much with 2 minutes worth of guitar solo. It's just incredible at this stage. And you can understand, especially the fact that he was and is still to some extent a really kind of quiet individual who looked from the outside quite withdrawn and inward when the rest of the band were all kind of like this.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's just saying so much without ever opening his mouth as such. It's yeah, amazing across this
No,
album.
I agree. I agree. He's not this like tons of notes. It's just like the one note, he's holding on a note that's just like
Yeah,
perfect. Like, and he just bends it, and it's just like, oh, like I
yeah,
love his touch and his tone. Oh, it's so great. Yeah,
yeah.
love it. And he
Uh,
he complained about it later. He said my tone wasn't that good on this record. I'm like, okay, not sure about that, but
yeah, how
anyway,
much more do you need?
yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Steve.
Yeah,
Um, so, but anyway, so yeah, so but Chelsea Monday, I think you're right. It stayed on the set list forever. So I think Fish must have liked singing it or something. I think he liked the sort of mellow sing.
I
I don't
think
know,
it's
the
also one
dramatic
of those
singing.
songs. I'm a great believer. What do I know? But I'm a great believer in a kind of a set when you go see a band live, peaks and
Yeah,
troughs, and then
dynamics.
it takes you high. Chelsea Monday is one of those kind of little pauses, but it
Yeah,
is really, really not in your face. It's quite difficult to describe. It is uncompromising. So
right.
even though you're not kind of standing there going, "Oh, isn't this fantastic?" I absolutely, it
Hmm.
is captivating live. So it really does a job, and I understand why it's there in a set as that kind of let's pause because otherwise you'll all be done before we get to the end of the set.
Yes,
Let's just have that
yes.
moment where we all just kind of go,
Bring the lights down a
yeah,
little bit. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then we'll move on and we'll play Garden Party or whatever it may be, you
Yes,
know? So,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah,
So we kind of have this little, it's kind of dark melancholy a little bit with Chelsea Monday, and then the final song, Forgotten Sons, is like, oh, this is
yeah,
one of my favorites. I just love this track. Um, I don't know what it is about it. It just has that Marillion, uh, I don't know, anthemic kind of. I mean, when he just right when at the beginning when it's just like that, and he's just I'm a lights, street lights. You're like, it's just like
yeah,
right away you're just in. You're like, I love this.
yeah. He is such a character, isn't he? I mean, vocally, he's not just singing the songs,
Right.
he's absolutely embodying the words that he wrote. And some people would argue these words are too much. I wouldn't be that person because I just think that they're
No.
fantastic. You maybe wouldn't have written them 30 years or 40 years down the line, but for the time and for the band at that point, they were absolutely fantastic. But this, I think, is a lyric he's always been proud of. This was about, as it was described over here, the troubles in Northern Ireland. is what this is about, and it's very much written more from the point of view of, I suppose, the cheapness of life and the fact that all of those kind of happenings and people losing their lives was reported in such a matter of fact kind of way. And it was more about the struggles and the fights and the terrorism and the army response and all of those things, rights, wrongs, both sides, all that kind of stuff. But the people involved were very much just seen as almost statistics. This is the view of the lyrics. People
Yeah.
are free to agree or disagree with that. That's not my interpretation. This is kind of where the lyrics take you, because I know that some people love these lyrics and other people still have a bit of an issue with these lyrics, depending on where you're going. But
Right.
this is Fish already setting his stall out. He doesn't really care what you think.
Yeah.
He's absolutely set in what he believes in the way that he views it, and he is going to absolutely tell you that. And that too was such a weapon for the band because, especially live, he just embodied these words. I mean, the spoken kind of shouted section on the album where a newsreader is reading the lines as he's mirroring them and they kind of merge together is just so heady because you've got this very straight voice reading the lines as he's
Yes.
singing them, almost
Yes.
building into crazed madness. And when the second breakdown comes up, and it's that halt, who goes there?
Yeah.
Friend. And you're like, wow.
So
And the
cool.
hairs, I mean, even with me saying it, and I'm a clown, right? It's like the hairs on your oh, it's just,
Yeah, your
oh,
arm go yeah, your hairs and your
yeah.
arm go up. Yeah.
Because you wait for these moments and they're just so well realized on the album. It really, yes, this to me is the album's crowning glory. It's not often an album goes out on the absolute high, especially when it's been this good all the way through. But this is really, I think, the crowning achievement of Script
Yeah.
for the Jester's Tear.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was always, my interpret, everyone hears it. My interpretation of Forgotten Sons was like the guy coming back from war who's like a vet, a Vietnam vet or something like that, who's just
Yep.
lost in society. But again, you could think about it in
I
different
would,
ways.
I would say that's a very similar theme, though. It is really
Right.
about the harsh realities of war and the fact that the person who's actually doing the fighting is not the person that's really considered. You could transpose that into many situations, even in the modern world. Unfortunately, these lyrics are still relevant now, even though they were quite specific about what they were talking about. They do definitely cover way more than the actual intended topic that he was
Yeah.
going for at that point. So I can see exactly where you're coming from, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. And then isn't Forgotten Sons the one where it has this sort of jam in the middle, or where it's like
Yeah,
it's like what is that? Like it's like this huge left turn, and but
yeah,
it totally works. Like it's like wow,
absolutely.
this is
Suddenly we're
great.
almost in a rock and roll space rock song.
Yeah,
You know,
yes.
and you're like, hold on. But they did play rock and roll like skits in some of the songs when they were like early on, even when they were playing at this stage and beyond. You go
Right,
listen to some bootlegs from even I think Misplaced Childhood tour. They are playing like Let's Twist Again and various things in the middle of a set of Marillion songs. You think,
right.
how
What?
does that work?
Yeah, yeah,
But then again, I mean, Fish's influences were things like the Alex Harvey band and all this kind of stuff, who
right,
are no
right.
rules. They are absolutely no rules. Do you know? I mean,
Yeah,
Delilah and all this kind of, we'll do what we want. You're either
yeah.
along for the ride or you're not.
Yes, yes. Because I mean, Fish loved glam rock, right? I mean,
Yes,
he did some covers on the covers album. He did like some glam stuff.
absolutely. There's things like so T Rex on there. Sensational Alex Harvey band. First time I saw him on a solo tour, they I don't know if they opened with it. I'm maybe going to make that up, but they played Faith Healer by the Sensational Alex Harvey band. So
Hmm.
yes, he's very much ensconced in that time,
Yeah.
and that is he brings that element, I suppose, of showmanship
Hmm.
to what could be in his head when he walked in to first see the band. He walked into this kind of prep school. Who are these swats kind of thing? You know, all these posh boys, which is not really
Right.
true of
Hmm.
who they were, where they come from. But from his background and his outlook, he walked in and went, "So what is this?" So he kind of brought that different aspect to what they were already doing.
Oh, absolutely. He complimented the band so well, and you've I don't think we talked about this. When was the first time had you seen them live? What did you see them with
I
Fish?
No,
Right.
this is one of my most disappointing moments. You know those moments that you make a decision where you think, it's not a big decision, it makes no difference, that'll be okay. And you regret it for really the rest of your life. Well, yes, I had two friends at school who went to see them on the Clutching at Straws tour.
Yeah.
And my answer when they said, "Do you want to come?" was, "I'll catch them next time."
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So, no, the first time I saw Marillion was on the Season's End tour, which was Steve Hogarth's first tour with them. And the
Right.
first time I saw Fish was at the Queen's Hall in Edinburgh. And I would tell you a lie. They'd done a Highlands and Islands tour of tiny little venues in the Highlands and Islands of Scotland.
Hmm.
I think I saw gig six because that was the first place that they played in a big venue. That was maybe the first real show because they moved from these little halls where it was all locals coming in their knitted jerseys to watch the famous people
Right.
onto let's actually play a big city in Scotland. So I kind of saw the first real one, but not the first real one. But there you go. So yeah, I never saw this lineup together and have regretted it ever since.
It's one of those.
I have been in the
Man,
same room
God,
as
I
them
should have
all.
gone to that.
I've been in the same room as them all because I saw Marillion and I can't remember exactly what tour it was. And we were in a venue called the ABC in Glasgow, which is burnt to the ground a few years ago, unfortunately. Great venue. And word went round as Marillion were playing on stage that in the VIP section up above us on the stairs, Fish was in the building. And it
Oh,
was
interesting.
palpable. You could feel that frisson go around. Fish is in the building. So
Yeah.
it's in a Scots place where he was, but nobody. He was seen and it was real and he was there and he was beginning to kind of build bridges with the band again at that stage. So there was that hope that he would maybe, but you knew it was never going to happen because
Yeah.
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 But I mean, Steve Hogarth had been in the band for longer than Fish by this stage, so
Yes.
you just
Yes.
can't go there. You
No, you
can't do
can't
it.
do it. You can't do it. No.
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 So
So
no, I didn't.
yeah. But at least, like you said, they were all in the same building though. That's
That'll
pretty
do.
cool.
I can kind of claim it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So there you go. But just Fish was quite a great front man. I did see them on the Clutching tour, thank God, and
Oh,
that was that my buddy kind of dragged me along because he was a bigger fan than I was.
well,
I mean, and I was like I had something going on. It's always I was like you said, that sometimes life gets in the way, and you're like, oh, I can't make it or I can't do it, or and then it's like, no, you're going. And
yeah,
I was like, all right,
yeah.
sweet, let's go. So, but he was a he was a big dude. Like he would come out on stage, and it was like he's this tall guy, this big guy. Like quite a front man just because of his sheer presence. It's like, whoa.
Yes, and he's
Uh,
happy to take on a crowd. He
yes,
is. He'll
yes.
get in people's faces, and won't let any shit happen. Put it that way. It doesn't take any
Yeah.
shit either.
Doesn't
Yeah,
take it.
he's always been a live force. I've seen him many times over the years, and I've always enjoyed it very much indeed.
Yeah.
You have to be aware that he'll talk even more than I do during the gig, because you'll get stories and stories and stories, and the band will often hunker down for it. We know what's coming here. This is a 5 minute one.
The guitar player starts going like this. Come on, man.
Usually stories are also worth hearing, so there you go. So you kind of
Yeah.
win both ways.
No, that's great. That's great. So yeah, so before we get on any more tangents, I would say that we covered this record very well. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. If there's any closing comments you have about this record at all, or
Well, I suppose I'm going to out myself here,
okay.
okay? Because the only things we haven't covered, I guess, would be charting the single. So that's the B side to
Oh
Heroes You,
yes, yes,
okay?
yes.
Um, that I would argue, although Market Square Heroes and the single edit of Garden Party, yeah, they're kind of pop songs. Charting the singles probably as near as they got to a pop song.
Mhm.
Oddly, they stuck it on the B side, but it doesn't fit on the album. I like it, and it's sing alongable. It's a bit more electro than I would have expected. And probably the only thing in the whole catalogue that comes near is the B side to Freaks when they released that to try and break America. And that is Tux On, if you know that song. And
Yes. Yep.
they have a similar kind of staccato drum beat and all that. So I like charting a single, but I don't love it. I'm glad it's not on the album, but I'm glad we have it. Where I'm going to out myself is that the B side, especially on the 12-inch version of Garden Party, okay, is the song Margaret, okay?
Okay.
And this is a live song, okay? I don't like Margaret. I don't like Margaret at all. And anyone from Scotland that hears Fish on the stage shouting, and I think it's from the Edinburgh Playhouse. It is from the Edinburgh Playhouse. He shouts, Moira Anderson, eat your heart out. And anyone in Scotland will tell you that Moira Anderson is a traditional kind of Scottish folk singer, because what you get here is two traditional Scottish songs. Okay, so the Bonnie Bonnie Banks of Loch Lomond and Mary's Wedding rammed together into a Marillion style, and things like you tack the high road and I'll tack the low road. Now, as a Scotsman, I meant to like this shit, but I don't. It's shortbread tin rubbish. It's that kind of kitsch. We all actually sit in our houses wearing kilts and tartan, but we don't. Obviously, we don't, and that's what Margaret kind of sums up to me. That you take the high road. And I'm like, no, don't fish, don't do that. Please don't do that.
No, no,
And
no. Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
one of the very few songs in the whole Marillion catalogue that I would just put in the bin, close the lid, and seal it.
Yeah. Yeah. Should
Do
have
not
never
like
made
it.
it. Should have never made it out of the studio or the
Absolutely. And if
live
you
or
want to
whatever.
understand that they liked rock and roll, that's what the solo section in that is. It's
Mhm. Yeah.
few redeeming features. It's got quite a
Yes.
good vocal, but there you go.
No, and I feel kind of the same way about charting the single. That's the one that was the
Okay.
one that, that's it's on the deluxe version, whatever. And it's like, it's not bad. Like you said, it's not bad, but it's definitely like it's one of those you go, it's definitely a B-side. Like it's
Yeah.
not. There's no way it
Yeah.
would have made the record. It's kind of
Yeah.
simple for them. It's like dang, dang, dang. You're like, okay, this is, and it kind of stays that way through the whole song a little bit.
Yes,
Um,
and it's got a really simple chorus. It's very singable.
yeah,
It's not very exciting, or not to me.
it's
So, I mean,
okay.
and that was a song they played before the album was recorded and various things as well.
Yeah,
So there
yeah.
you are. But yeah, so that, because it's been so much of a love in, I decided it's only fair to suggest I'm not just a total, oh gosh, 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 I love it all. There are
Just a
some faults.
fanboy. I can't help it.
There are some faults along the way, and you have to acknowledge them, but they're not on the album.
No, they're not. They're not. So no, but you're right. It's nice to have a couple of dissenting opinions here. Like, oh,
Yeah,
that
there you
one's a
go. Yeah,
and that one's a no. So we're not, we don't love everything. Um, so yeah, so there you go. But the record is impeccable. I mean, the album is great.
yeah,
So
yeah,
they knew what was good. They knew. So
absolutely.
yeah. So excellent record. And thank you, Stephen. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. I've really thoroughly enjoyed this, Tom. Thank you for asking.
Yep, yep, definitely. So maybe we'll do it again. We'll see. We'll see. Or maybe talk maybe
Well,
more, maybe.
there's an interesting journey between here and the next album. Let's just leave that there.
Let's we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. So thank you everyone. If you're with us this far, you're definitely a Marillion fan. We appreciate you. Thank you so much again to Stephen. And also, you got to hit like and subscribe. If you like what you see, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. All the YouTubers are like, come on, hit subscribe. Don't just go, hey, that was a cool video, and move on to the next. So I appreciate it if you would do that. And thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you next time on Curless Mania. See ya.